Hi there, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you all joining us today. So we're gonna give it a few moments, right, so that everybody can join us in. Just to be respectful of everybody's time, we will slowly push the webinar. So hi there, welcome, and then perfect. I'm taking my eyes from the chat, although it's like super burning over there. But I'm gonna look at the presentation a bit so that we can start, right? So before we get into who is going to talk to you today about, let's also look a bit at the agenda and let's do some generic housekeeping, right? So we have a quick introduction over here. We're gonna see exactly who are the speakers, who is Heimdal, why is Heimdal having the honor of having a bit of time from you, right, today. So then we're gonna look at the growing threat of ransomware. Why is ransomware dangerous, especially in today's world? We're gonna look at what this means for businesses. Then we're gonna do exactly the reason why we're all here today. Detonate ransomware live in front of you guys, like take the most dangerous out there and just explode computers with them. Then, of course, we cannot leave without looking a bit at actionable tips and takeaways. So we will touch upon that as well. Related resources, because we do want to have you guys equipped with as many things as possible. A Q&A. And very important, please, at the end of the session, you also have a forum coming to you. Very important. We want to make these events better and better for you. So if you don't give us the feedback, we don't know exactly where to go with them. Okay, cool. Thank you. Now, without further ado, let's move further and see who are your speakers today. So. My name is Andrei. I am your Heimdal cybersecurity and product expert. I've been with Heimdal for 4 years now, and I've got to the amazing performance to have over 5,000 meetings in these 4 years with customers and partners across geographies. So let's say I've seen them all. I've seen Heimdal going from 1-2 products up until what it is right now. So that's why I will be your expert going further. And I also have with me Robertino Matausch. He is our current head of pre-sales engineering. He is coming from Germany. And basically his experience is so amazing. He has over 30 years in IT and worked for companies such as Microsoft at the beginnings, Formula One, and so on. But I'll also allow Robertino to share a few words with you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Andrei. It's a pleasure to be with you. And you see, Andrei has 5,000 meetings right now just with Heimdal and all the customers. Amazing, absolutely amazing, that number. I'm a little bit older than the internet, so I started quite early. As you mentioned before, I was doing a lot of stuff, and I'm happy to be here with Heimdal and with you and presenting. And yes, it's a lot of fun to detonate ransomware, but you will give our friends right outside here detailed numbers and information about that. And I'm just putting down the trigger and shout fire in the hole before detonating it.
Perfect, Robertino. Thank you for that. Thank you. And yeah, if anybody has a question in particular for Robertino or for myself, when you post your questions in the chat, also you can say who you would like to have a look at your question. Okay, then next, who is Heimdal? And basically, let's just jump over these things as fast as possible so that we can focus on the detonation. So let's see. How fast can we go over the slides? And as I promised, I will not bore you at all. Okay, so we have a question if there is a chat window. Yes, there is a chat window. You have it in the menu. So you should have chat. You should also have a Q&A. Please check to find it. If not, just please Google it for a second, and you'll see exactly where you can find this chat window. Okay, so moving further, who is Heimdal? So Heimdal is a cybersecurity vendor that offers all of these products, right? We have 9 products currently on the market. However, Heimdal started with just 2 products, just the first 2 products, and now Heimdal is servicing over 11,000 customers worldwide, business-to-business customers, and with 9 products. Of course, if we want to learn more, we can talk about it more, but not right now, right? Right now, we're going to talk about ransomware. So, the growing threat of ransomware. Why is ransomware something that we should be wary of? So let's not look too far in the past, and let's start with 2019. Now, I don't know if you guys were ever curious to search for this, but the average attack in 2019 was costing a business $141,000 to recover, right? So this would have included the ransom note. This would have also included the recovery, the man hours spent on it, everything, including the loss of business, right? This is an average. Then in 2020, this has doubled and just a little bit, and going to over here $283,000. Now, the problem is that, as you can see, this is doubling over here, which is very, very dangerous. But what about 2021? In 2021, the only thing that I would like to tell you is that ransom costs alone, just the ransom costs, how much you need to pay them for them to give you the decryption, have jumped with 140%. So they didn't just double, they double and something. Now, just for my curiosity, how much do you think how much impact do you think ransomware gave to the world in 2021? If you could please just type your opinion in the chat. Let's do a quick game over here. Let's see in the chat who is closest to the actual value. So I'll start. Actually, we have somebody starting. Thank you. We have 2 people already. I'll just put 1 million myself, right? Robertino, do you want to put in your opinion here?
I would say 1.2, 1.3 million, because it's doubling, so exponential growth.
Okay, well, we have some options here. We have 1.5 mil, we have 5 mil, we have $2 billion, $500,000. I actually see people going around 500,000, 600K, 1.8 mil, 200 million. Yeah. This is good. Thank you, guys. So let's see, right? It's $1.85 million US, and we actually have somebody that was like so close. We have somebody saying 1.8 million. So basically, this is a staggering 7 times the amount of what it was in 2020, which this is actually the problem, right? We're talking about last year's statistics right here. We're not talking about this year's statistics. We're talking about last year, and last year it was this much. It was 7 times compared to the year before that. Now, in this year, in 2022, we basically have 1 attack happening at each 11 seconds. So as you can imagine, it's going to be a massive statistic. However, we don't want to be as dark, right? But as you can see, the trend is ransomware gangs are starting to attack more sensitive and bigger targets. What does that mean for us? It means that there's a prediction that by 2031, the total cost of ransomware to the globe, including ransom cost, including recovery, including downtime of your business, including everything, it's going to be $265 billion US, which is actually huge. Now, what this means for our businesses, right? It's easy. There's only one meaning. The risk is rising for everybody. Now, if the risk is rising, It's rising due to a few reasons. But before we go into the actual reasons of the risks that are rising, I would like to actually launch a poll, right? So that we can see exactly what's your opinion here. Just a second. It seems I have a bit of a technical. Perfect. Okay, so I am launching the poll, right? You should have it on the screen. Basically, the question is from a scale of 1 to 5. How confident are you in fending off an attack? The first answer is basically, I'm not confident at all. I'll just reimage my computers and get on with it. I don't want to react in any way, and it might not actually even target me. The second answer would be, I'm just fine. We have an antivirus. Second one, we're okay. We have a backup, right? Even if something happens, we wipe it and we back it up. Fourth, we're good. We have an next-gen antivirus and we have a backup, right? We already have two things in our defense stack. And last but not least, we're great. We're using dedicated multi-layer security and also disaster recovery. That's what DR stands for. So we're just going to give this a few more seconds. We're close to 1 minute and almost half of you guys voted. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. And yeah, let's close the poll. And now I want to share the results of the poll with everybody so that we can see exactly how this stands. So as you all can see, the option which makes me very happy is the options are we're great and we're good. So this is very, very important. With we're good, you could improve a bit, but we also have a lot of you guys saying that you're great, you have everything that you need, which is very, very good. Now, thank you for sharing this with us. Let me hide the the poll, and let's go back to our slides. So we said the risk is growing. Why is the risk growing? So we have risk growing due to ransomware as a service. This means that basically they are not attacking somebody, they don't have anything personal. They just create a ransomware, they attack with it, they also sell it. So you can literally just go and buy your own version of the ransomware, right? Then you have double extortion, which has been happening since a year ago, which is dangerous. We will open up what double extortion means. You also have affiliation right now. So right now you want to be very cautious. Then ransomware groups are now acting like full companies. And the last reason that people are scared of is that there's an enhanced performance that we're tackling, and also the attack vectors are more enhanced than also more varied, right? So they're not using the regular attacks anymore. They are expanding on that. Now, without sticking too much to the slides over here, let's also have a quick look and see what ransomware families approach these high-risk factors. We have ransomware as a service and also double extortion. This is the list of ransomware strains that approach this. And what would that mean? What would be double extortion? If you take a look at this particular ransom note, right? There's a line saying that all your stolen data will be loaded into the block if you do not pay the ransom. So they're first extorting you for money, right, versus your data. But if you don't want to pay, they're also saying that they will be releasing your data. Then we have the Lockbit affiliation conditions. So it's even like this. So it's just online. You just have all the details about the program and you just enroll as an affiliate. And then these are the headlines, right? This is something happening a few months ago, right? A month ago, in which it was said that they made over 600 million per year since they launched the affiliation program. Then This is a leaked image from the Conti network. This shows exactly how Conti is structured as a company. So they have affiliations, they have HR, they have research and development, business development, and also finance, right? So literally, they're like a legitimate company. They even have an employee of the month program, which they get bonuses if they were productive for the company. And also we talked about another risk factor being the enhanced performance of the ransomware that is present in today's world. Just looking at this image, which is coming from last year alone, Lockbit 2.0 was already breaking records of encryption speed. So in about 4 minutes and a half, it would have encrypted 100 gigabytes of your data. And right now, it's even doing it faster. So are you guys ready for us to detonate ransomware together? Let's see. Let's see if anybody is as excited as we are. Let's see. No chat activity. Yeah, but nevertheless, let's detonate together and let's have some fun. Robertino, what I'll do is I'll make you the presenter so that you can show us the ransomware. And if you wouldn't mind just walking us through the process, what are you doing there? What do you have there? What's your setup?
Yeah, okay. As you can see, I like the Heimdall in a different way, not the corporate logo, but I'm always addicted to it and a fan of the MCU. What we have right here is my VM that I'm testing for detonating ransomware. I have a whole list of it. In this scenario, we have a Windows 10 fully patched. We have ransomware. We have Heimdall, the agent installed on it. But that is very important. We are allowing detonation. That means the ransomware encryption protection is deactivated. The antivirus is deactivated to give you a full impression of what is happening on a device that is not protected and when the ransomware starts its damage.
Perfect. Thank you, Robertino. Thank you. So yeah, we have the audience pretty excited. I'm also pretty excited myself. So what are we starting with, Robertino?
I decided to use Rebel as the first one because he's one of the famous ones. And then we are going step by step to the other ones till we reach Lockbit and the current version. I started the task manager, so you can see then the processes, also what is happening. But you will see it looks boring on the task manager, but the deeper insights you will provide, Andrei, because you have the tools and you have the tools for doing it. So now let's see, I'm just detonating it.
Sure thing, Robert. Thank you. Okay, so I do notice a spike in your CPU over there immediately after you did that.
Yeah, that is to be honest just the VM. I'm now starting it, and now you see here I have the process of Revel, and for the first seconds it is doing nothing. It seems to do nothing, but that is of course wrong. And sooner or later it will start with its work and start encrypting. As you see, it's starting right now. CPU load is going up. Also, the disk traffic is going up from 0 to, and now we have already the first README file. So definitely it started already.
Could you please open the file and show us what it says?
Usually they are very kind and give you direct instructions how what you can do. But you see, I already lost my data.
So they have good customer service, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they're absolutely professional. I'm just increasing it a little bit. You see, so they are very kind. They explain to you, absolutely kind. What has happened to you? You lost your data, but they do it in a kind way. And talking about guarantees, how to pay, etc. You see, you have a good instruction, what you have to use, etc. It is very straightforward, and usually I would say it is an idiot-proofed instruction how to pay your ransom.
Perfect. Because again, they just want to make the money, so they usually try to avoid any political affiliations and everything. Now, Robertino, what I'll do is, if you could please set the stage for the next for the next
Yep.
strain, I will steal your screen for a second, and I will share my screen. Okay, so let's look at some data about Revel, right? This was first seen in April 2009. Their preferred attack methods are remote desktop protocols, misconfigured remote RDP servers that are internet facing, brute force attacks, exploits usually leveraging admin rights, phishing, and malware ads. As a total known damage, they did over $200 million, and this is confirmed damage. Some interesting facts. We all know that there was a huge RMM industry attack, right? A supply chain attack. Well, these were the guys that were involved in that attack. And the funny thing is that that didn't happen only once. It actually happened twice at a year's distance. So in case you wanna see that it can happen even twice. Some famous victims: Acer, Apple's business partner, then the biggest meat manufacturing plant, JBS, and also the law firm that was servicing Donald Trump. They even held Donald Trump. They even held him ransom for his data. So as you can see, I'm adding a list of actions that the ransomware is doing. So this particular image here is from our sandbox, which it's a future product that we're releasing. But right now, I really wanted some data so that I can show you guys what is the ransomware doing in the computer while you're actually looking at the screen and it appears like it's doing nothing. So as you can see over here, we have possible anti-debugging. So it detects that something is looking at it, it tries to evade. It also delays itself. Then it starts to read everything that you're doing in the computer, right? Enumerating all the running processes, attempts to stop services. And of course, at this point, it's already clear that this is the Revel malware. Now, we do have some interesting questions in the chat, and we will get to all of those in the Q&A. And by the way, guys, even if we don't get to a question in the Q&A, please do not worry. We will come back with all of those responses, right? So don't worry about it. We see some interesting questions like, yeah, they hacked Kaseya. Yeah, that was the RMM vendor that we were talking about. Then we also see, how does Heimdal actually prevent an attack? Well, this is a good one, right? Robertino, are you ready with the VM?
I'm nearly ready.
Okay, perfect. Then let's take this question. Let's take this question. Perfect. Thank you for the question here. So Heimdal could actually assist you in stopping ransomware at a few layers, right? You first have the DNS. We will be looking at DNS. It also helps you in the AV layer. It also helps you when it comes to email security. Very, very important. Email is one of the preferred ways of getting in. When ransomware tries to move laterally, it helps you by mitigating the admin rights usage, right? So we need to be sure that we have multiple layers, right? But we will get to that. Robertino, you were making a sign. Are you ready for the next ransomware strain? Okay, then let me make you a presenter again. So show us the next strain.
Yep, and we are running right now Conti. Conti is a little bit behaving strange because it detects that it is in a VM. So you see it was suspended in the task manager, and usually it terminates itself detecting a VM, because that is a kind of intelligence. Most of viruses are used since decades, I would say. If you are detecting a VM, stop yourself, because usually then you're in a security lab. But that is a little bit, of course, ransomware is a little bit smarter. It is now, you see, suspending again. So it is doing something in the background and stopping itself. So, but you can trick that in a VM. You just need to restart it again, and then
let's give it a gentle nudge, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, Robertino, while you're showing us Conti, we have somebody in the chat sharing a very nice story. Thank you for that. So 6 years ago, one person, only one person, opened one email. The computer got infected. It was stopped, and backups were restored. There were almost 1 million files encrypted. The person that's sharing with us says there were 900,000 files encrypted, and it took them 29 hours to restore. So basically, just due to the error of one person, this happened, right? Yeah. So it's a very good story. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah. So we have the ransom note, right?
Backups. Yep, we have the README, and we already lost our data. So as you can see,
okay,
it's encrypted. And regarding the backups, there's always a problem with the backups, because we are often hearing, we have backups. Yes, but to be honest, even the backups, because you have an IOA and an IOC. So the question is, when are you getting attacked?
Robertino, before you go further, could you please tell everybody what an IOA is and an IOC? To be super short, I'll just gonna grab a glass of water.
IOA is quite simple. It's an indicator of attack. That means in the worst case, you got the README like that. And an IOC is an indicator of compromise. That means maybe somebody opened an email, it dropped the ransomware, but it was sleeping. So maybe it is in your system or in your backups for a month, and it is just waiting for a certain date, let's say Black Friday, or National Day or something like that, and then it is starting its damage. So that means even when you're using your backups and you play them back and restore them, it means there can be the ransomware already in it. Just as an
okay, so basically you're saying here that I might actually give them again the chance of them getting into my network.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that, Robertino. Yeah, so I stole your screen so that you can get ready for the next sample. Before I get that, we have a question in the chat. Somebody cannot see the chat. You can just use the Q&A area, and it's okay. Both the chat and Q&A area work for chatting, so it's okay. Now, Conti, first seen in early 2020, right? So preferred vectors of attack: phishing, RDP, social engineering, software and firewall exploits. They did over 150 million US dollar in confirmed revenue, and they are basically running like a business. They don't run like a gang of hackers. If we want to see some of their famous victims, you have a list over here. But the most important thing was what mentioned, what Robertino said actually triggered me to push about Conti, right? So why I wanted you to show Conti is because here's what Robertino was mentioning with the backups. Sometimes ransomware will actually target this directly. It will attempt to delete or modify your volume shadow copies in order to make sure that you don't get to actually use them, which is very bad, right? So that's why you have them. But as you can see, delay, exactly what Robertino said, it tries to stop itself in order to not give you the information. It sees it's in a virtual environment. Then it's enumerating all processes. It's creating an auto run, right? It tries to start itself automatically whenever the computer comes on. So it tries to stay hidden in there, deletes your backups, writes ransom message, and of course, at the point, it even attempts to identify what product in your computer is responding to it so that it can try leveraging admin rights that it found in the computer to take out that product, right? To uninstall your actual product. Now, Robertino, let us know, is the VM ready for the next?
Yes, we are. We are ready for.
So I'll share the screen. I'll make you the presenter again. Please share with us. In the meanwhile, I have a question here. Can Heimdall be installed on servers? Of course, of course. So we have the requirements on our blog page. What is the minimum one? But yeah, 2019, that's for sure.
Okay, I'm shouting fire in the hole and ignition.
Thank you, Robertino.
Right now.
Black matter? Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Process has started, right? It was suspending itself or what?
Yeah, just suspending itself. I mean, you have the more detailed information. I love that sandbox. It's a great product. And I'm a little bit envy because you have already used it. But next week, I will have it also. Yes, sir.
Don't worry about it. We will present it to everybody once it's public, right? But so far. And by the way, thank you for the people that are responding to the question that we have on the chat, which is, would your organization be tempted to pay the ransom or not, right? All answers will be confidential. So this is just a question. I see a lot of people saying no, which is actually a very good thing, right? You should be able to fend it off and recover from the minimum damage that it produced, right? Okay, I like it. Everybody says no. Okay. We actually don't have a yes. Yes. We have a different response. I don't think so, but it's still a no, right? I'm curious if anybody would actually pay it, right? And we have one that's interesting. Everyone says no until it happens. Well, we don't wish anybody to actually have this experience. And finally, we do have a yes. We do have a yes in the chat. So yeah, it's guys, we really hope this never happens to you. This is the most important thing. It should never happen. Now, if it happens, we need to be prepared, right? But it should actually never happen in the first place. Okay, but thank you for answering our call to action over there. Yeah, interesting. Could you budget for a ransomware recovery? that was an interesting one. Avoiding local admin rights should help. Of course it helps. Allowing people to have local admin rights helps because the malware then is contained. You don't have it spreading. That's a good one. That's a good one, by the way. Okay.
Now we have the README, and now just give it some seconds because it is very polite. First of all, you get a README. Second, it will change your desktop. And third, that is very funny. Can you see my cam?
Of course, we see it, Robertino.
Okay, because I cannot see it right now. I have the desk in front of me. You get also a printout of the directions how to pay.
So basically, these guys, just to make sure that you know you have been attacked by ransomware, they use your printer and print you the ransom note, right? Oh, this is so fun. And yes, guys, in case you never seen how this goes on a computer, this is it, right? This is what you see. We hope that you never get to see this in a real life case, but yeah, this is what you see. And now it's printing again the ransom note so that it makes sure all the office sees that you guys have been compromised. We have some very interesting topics in the chat over here. We have somebody asking, well, this is a good question. How come if Heimdal is on right now, it doesn't stop the attack on Robertino's PC? Well, this is a very good question because we have Heimdal on, but we disabled Heimdal ransomware protection. We also disabled Heimdal antivirus just to make sure that we give it a clear shot to encrypt so that you guys can see how this happens. The only one that we still have enabled is the DNS. We don't want to be a part of their botnet, so that's why we kept the DNS. But yeah, Robertino, thank you for sharing this. I will go back to my screen for a second now so that we can look at some data regarding the Black Matter ransomware statistics. So Black Matter was first seen in July 2021, very important. It's actually a more recent strain compared to the rest of them. They will use all the variations of the attack cases that the other ransomware families use, including stolen credentials. It's said that they actually have in between 80,000 and 15 million negotiations in crypto, right, for the total damages. This is for the ransom notes. And what's very, very interesting is that they are a combination of DarkSide, Revel, and Lockbit. So why we want to look at black matter and why we would like you guys to be careful with black matter is because they did not yet leave their mark. There is still a lot of power and a lot of lifetime to be had with this particular ransomware strain. Some huge victims: the tech giant Olympus, and also a U.S. food supply chain, the Fort Dodge New Cooperative. This basically hit the supply chain with fresh produce across the U.S. And what does it do? Basically, what do we don't see when we look at the computer, right? We don't see that it is doing a lot of traffic requests. Then it is also stopping your services, attempts to modify your proxy so that it opens up things in the future for it. And of course, at the point before it gets to encrypt, we stopped it over here in the sandbox. Now, Robertino, would you like me to pass it back to you so that we can look at the next strain?
Just give me a second. I'm just updating. But
no worries. We have so many interesting questions. So
9, but we can
please.
First the questions, and then I'm ready.
I think I actually have one for you, Robertino. Will you be showing detonations whilst the firewall and ransomware protections are active? Robertino, I believe we do have that in our plan, right? Perfect. Yeah, so we will be showing that to you. Okay. Okay, and we have another question. Why is Heimdal different from other antivirus products and more effective? Can it prevent future as yet unknown ransomware? This is very interesting because it's not just an antivirus with Heimdal. It's DNS, it's antivirus, is the security versus ransomware, right? It's also email security that is important. Also privilege access management and so on. So it depends exactly what tools you have and what do you also need. We have another question. Do I need to activate REP? I bought the module. Oh, congratulations for that. Then what we will do is we will connect you with your customer success manager, and they will help you out, right? So so we can make sure you get that information to you, how to activate it. But it's easy. You just have a button to activate it. Robertino,
I'm ready. But regarding the question, I think he was focusing on the question if REP is capable of detecting future releases of ransomware. And yes, because REP is a kind of behavioral analysis, and it's monitoring the processes and how they are behaving in a system. And that means file enumeration, encryption requests, etc. And that is protecting you against, and it is not signature based. So that means it is protecting you against the knowns and the unknown ransomware encryption, because they are still behaving the same. I always explain it like 4 legs, a fur, a tail, and it's barking, it's a dog. Same with ransomware. File enumerations, directory enumerations, etc., encrypting requests, and as Andrei showed you in the sandbox, all this typical behavior gives a good indicator if it's a ransomware or not. And the best thing is, okay, if it's a false positive and we are blocking a safe process, it's still up to you to unlock it, but at least it is protecting you against nearly everything, even file attacks.
So basically, let me get that correctly, Robert. Just to make sure that everybody captured that, because it's super important. And yes, thank you. The question had 2 sides, and I missed the second side. So basically, you're saying that this tool will look at the computer and will look at behavior such as read writes, right? For file enumeration, file creation, deletes, and so on, which are input-output operations. Then you said it's looking at shadow copy tampering, like if it tries to mess with your backups, disk corruption, and also the extension, right? So it has all of that intelligence. So basically you're saying it doesn't look for a known virus. It actually looks for anything that is doing such behavior, right?
Yes.
So
it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it's a duck.
So as Robertino likes to say, if it walks like a duck, if it sounds like a duck, it's a duck. So that's why this would be effective. This would be effective. Okay, so Robertino, show us the next train over
Yeah,
here.
the Lockbit version 2.0.
Okay,
Already
so this is the one that everybody's doing such a fuss over, right?
yeah.
The one that encrypts so fast compared to the rest of them. Okay, guys, and thank you for all the questions in the chat. We will be looking at all of them. And yes, we will be showing with REP enabled as well, which for everybody's information, REP stands for Ransomware Encryption Protection. It's Heimdall's flagship product when it comes to ransomware security. I see another question. I already have an antivirus. Yes, you can use ransomware encryption protection on top of any antivirus.
And as you see, just it is now somehow linking a local drive into it because it tries to spread to the network.
Okay,
so that is
okay.
Drive Z. So that is the lateral movement. It tries to copy itself through the network. Thank God this computer is isolated, so there's no network connection to the local network.
That's actually good. And by the way, Robertino, you have a compliment coming from the audience. You make it so that everybody understands. So thank you for that. It's actually super. It's an honor for me to have you here with me in the show. Okay. So we see this one. This one is like the fastest out there right now, or one of the fastest, of course. And we still see it just working, right?
Yeah.
Not doing the damage directly, right? So we will see when we look at my screen share, we will see exactly what is it doing that we don't see, right? What's behind the hood. And then when we get to the key takeaways, we will also touch upon what do we need to avoid something like this. And by the way, guys, I hope you all still have a few minutes after this, because the Q&A will just start it at 45 minutes past the hour. So we'll just keep the 45 minutes for the information side, and then only then we will go further. And as you guys can see, a removable drive has been inserted in Robertino's computer by the malware, right? And so the malware is doing all that it can to make sure that you're not taking it away from the computer before it actually gets to do the damage.
Right. So it is the first self-protecting stuff and also generating an encrypted file system, storing files into it, etc. But that is the boring stuff. I think showing how we are protecting against that is then the more interesting stuff. So I'm handing over back to you with the explanation.
No worries.
What was happening.
Thank you, Robertino. So I'll start sharing again my screen so that we can look at the details, right? Lockbit so far, and we've seen a very interesting note in the questions about Lockbit 3.0. That's super good. So first seen, Lockbit 2.0 was seen 1 year ago. Lockbit first version 2019. We also have as a preferred attack method, credential harvesting, RDP, poorly configured remote desktop servers. And sorry for the typo, I placed RPD over here. Then it also is exploiting any type of public-facing software, any type of server, any type of application. Now, total known damage, it's over $1 billion already, which is very dangerous. Of course, you guys heard it's Lockbit 2.0, then it's like a huge organization. And they're also selling their engine to other malware groups at the same time. The interesting fact is that easily they encrypt at almost 400 megabytes per second. And they did have some massive victims. Now, what is this doing in the computer without you seeing, which is also very, very important? As you can see, it is attempting to connect to the ports. You can see 500 unique attempts to connect to one port, then enumerating all the processes, expresses internet specific in specific running processes, right? Interest. It's basically analyzing everything. It manipulates data from the recycle bin. Then my favorite, it goes and deletes your shadow copies, modifies boot configuration. So basically when you start back the computer, it will do something else. Installs itself as an automatic execution in Windows, which again, right, it makes sure you don't take it out, right? Then starts to create known lockbit ransomware decryption instruction keys, right? These are all those encrypted files, right? But before doing that, very important, it clears the logs of Windows so that you, even if you try to look at data, if you don't take it from the computer live, it deletes its trails so that you don't know what it did. And of course, last but not least, our sandbox detected that this is lockbit and stopped it. So basically, guys, this is information coming from our Heimdal sandbox. It's a product that we will be releasing soon. It will be state of the art, but more details when we have on it. Robertino, would you like me to share it back to you so that?
Give me just a second, because I was locked out of the dashboard. So I have to update the group policy for blocking right now.
Do you want me to update that for you, or?
I'm already done.
Okay, okay. We could have done it and showed people how to do it. Not a problem.
Okay, so yeah, then just do it for me, please. No problem.
Okay, cool. So guys, I will be sharing right now the Heimdal dashboard, right? We still have a few minutes until we get here. So showing you the Heimdal dashboard, right? What we want to go about is login, of course, the first thing. Then we want to go in the settings area and enter the group settings, right? And Robertino, could you please tell me what group is your computer a part of? Which one should I change?
PSE rep demo RM, no NGAV.
Okay, so this is the one. Guys, what you're seeing here are group policies, and Heimdal is configured by working with group policies. So you literally need to change the group settings, and then the computers will have that information, right? So right now, we're gonna go to the endpoint detection area. It will take a second until it loads all the data here. Endpoint detection, ransomware encryption protection, and it got changed to block. It was already changed. Now updating the group policy just to be safe, and when you update, you can impact only one group, more groups, or all the groups, right? So yeah, this is how you would change this. Now, Robertino, would you like me to pass it back to you?
Yes, I'm just synchronizing right now the group policy, so I'm fetching it.
Okay, perfect. Then let me take back the presentation and have the lockbit information here for anybody that still wants to see it. Okay.
Okay, fetching it's right now fetching the group policy. Takes sometimes about a minute between the dashboard and the client to get the changes.
No worries, Robertino.
Oh, I'm never worried, you know, because it's a VM, nothing can happen.
Yeah, it's good to have some room to play around with. It's always very important.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Okay, email and remote desktop is disabled. Cool. Yes, I got it. And now
okay, then I'm making you the presenter, Robertino. And let's see. Okay, well, so now we have the same virtual machine from earlier, right? We just did a little tweak in the settings. So let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Okay.
Black matter is starting somewhere. The process starts up and tries to do some things.
And while this is happening, let's pick up some more questions. Okay. About a very large company that was attacked. Rumors say one should turn
And
off the attack PC because the encryption might still be in memory. Is that correct? We'll get to this one. This is super interesting. But let's get back to Robertino's screen. Robertino,
oh,
what was just that in your corner over there?
oh, that was from the dashboard because I have activated the balloon tip. If something is happening, it should alert the user also. And what you've seen is that Heimdal REP has blocked the process and due to
Mhm.
detection of an encryption. But it's easier that you show it in the dashboard. So I hand him over back to you because you can show now the process details and the forensics part that we are offering with the dashboard.
It would be my pleasure to do that, Robertino. So everybody, let me share my screen. I hope I'm sharing the correct screen. If not, please do tell me. So right now you should be seeing my slides, changing to the Heimdal portal in a second. Okay, I have confirmation in the chat that you guys are seeing the portal now. So let's see, what do we see here? So in the products area, we will have all our selection. We go under endpoint detection and ransomware encryption protection, and we can see, for example, this one, which is the demo sample black matter that was blocked. And we also have the other ones, which is black matter that was allowed, and so on and so forth. Now, the interesting thing is that if you click on it, you get to see some details that could come in handy. So where has this started? What did it do along the way? And where did we block it? And then information about the process that was found to be dangerous, right? Including virus total connector so that you can check the hash, and also network activity. And moreover, we had some questions earlier about what products could help, including the DNS. Also noticed, if we look at this machine that was opened, and sorry guys, I'm going fast, but if you want more details, we can set some individual sessions and go over them. So if we check this is the sample that Robertino just executed, right? And if we look at the information, this is 2 minutes ago compared to my time. So this is basically black matter trying to make you a part of their botnet. It's going to some websites that gets to download the dangerous files that will remain persistently in your computer. So that's why it's important to also have DNS security. I know that looking at this portal with all of these things might be a bit overwhelming. So that's why, in case you guys want a full tour, please don't hesitate to come to us so that we can set these up. Now, we promised we will not go before we look at some key takeaways. So as key takeaways, the most important thing, be prepared for the worst. Now, it doesn't mean that you will be targeted. However, with one attack every 11 seconds, you cannot know. So it's very important, be prepared for the worst. Have a multi-layered cybersecurity approach, right? Protect versus RDP versus email, encryption, DNS, admin rights. Be very careful what you do with your admin rights, right? And also make sure you keep your OS and third-party apps updated regularly. I also wanted to show you guys WannaCry, but we don't have time for it right now, right? Since the hour is almost past. But unpatched systems can open you up. Implement user training and exercises, very important. And last but not least, this is very important, even with Heimdal, even with other very powerful tools out there, you will still have a few files compromised, right? So it's important, just be safe and have a disaster recovery. Have off-site backups that you can restore from. Now, before we get to the Q&A part, which I'm super excited about, let's also see. If you want to connect and talk about what we could do for you, you have a feedback form, which I would please ask you to fill in so that we can make these events better and better each time for you. Now, if you want us to do a quick detailed demo of this, please connect with us and use the button there to have a meeting booked. You have some related resources that you could download: the ransomware encryption protection datasheet, the next-gen antivirus protection datasheet, email security, as well mail security, and patch and asset management. These are some key components that everybody needs when they fight ransomware. Now, before we get to the Q&A, just announcing our next webinar, which is going to be 5 common PAM mistakes every business should avoid. This will be on the 26th of June at 2 p.m. Britain Standard Time, which is 1 hour later. We heard some feedback that you guys would like it to have it 1 hour later. And of course, last but not least, Q&A time. Please feel free. If anybody wants to stay a bit over time and have some more questions, we're not rushing anywhere. So let me open the question area and see what people are saying. Okay, I wanted to start with this one because it was super interesting. Rumors say that after a ransomware encryption happens, we should make sure we clear the memory of that computer because the actual process could remain in the memory itself. That is true. A memory dump is always important, as we saw the images from the sandbox earlier. With some of these ransomware strains, they get in the memory and they try to replicate from that point. So if you just reboot your computer quickly, that will not clear your memory fully. So let's see. Is ransomware included to the Mac OS policy? So basically, this is a question about Heimdal, I see. The ransomware encryption protection is not yet available for Mac OS, but it will be soon. So we will be working on that. Okay, any other questions that we could take? We do have a bunch of them, guys. And if we miss any question, please be sure that we will get back to you. So I can see we have a question. Robertino, I have one that might be good for you. The ransomware that can crash our drive, our backup, can it crash the backup too? Can it affect other backup versions, or does it crash just the current backup?
Okay, if the ransomware is just active on your PC, it will attack the shadow copies, so the VSS, etc. Of course, if you're just storing it, let's say, on tape or on external hard disk and you're not connected during that time, of course, it cannot attack them. But if you're using a NAS, for example, or a storage system connected to it, a Linux server, however, it will try to attack even these backups through the SMB protocol, directly accessing them. So what it is doing, it is using the Windows file system drivers to access any connected drive to replicate and to detect and to damage any kind of files.
Thank you, Robertino. We do have another question. Can the Heimdal ransomware security work without internet?
Yes.
But you first need to install it with internet, right?
Yeah.
Let's be safe. We give this to everybody, guys. The Heimdal components, some of them will work even without internet. However, you first need to install them when you have internet for the product to activate. We do have another question. What about cloud backup like OneDrive? It will damage. Will it damage the connection if it's connected to OneDrive? So it can damage. It can damage,
yeah. Depending on the strain, it can damage. Some are doing it, some are especially focusing on offline drives or cloud drives. And in the upcoming this year, we have also then a protection for OneDrive, for example, and other, or Google Drive, etc. We develop in the state of development a product that is protecting the local drives and the offline or cloud drives.
Okay. Then we have another interesting question over here. Okay, so if we have Heimdal activated on a server and a workstation has the ransomware active, the server will the server work? Will the server be able to stop the spread versus the or using the SMB shares. So basically we have Heimdall on the server, right? But we don't have it on the workstation. And the workstation that is connected to that server has the ransomware. So will Heimdall be able to stop that encryption when it's on the server without being on the endpoint? What's your opinion on that?
No. What the Heimdall REP can do is, as soon as from the infected workstation, the ransomware spreads to the server via the SMB share and tries to be active on the server, it will protect the server, but it cannot remotely from the server protect the client. That is not possible.
Okay, so it will protect the server, but it won't be able to protect that exposed endpoint, right? Yeah. Because it's on the server, right? So basically, guys, it's important to have the Heimdall REP on the device you want to protect. If it's a server, have it on the server. If it's the endpoint, also have it on the endpoint. Another question we have: can it stop the encryption on the files on the server? Yes, it stops it. It stops it. Okay, we have an interesting question which is about Android devices. What we will do is we will connect with your customer success manager and give him the response, right? So that we keep it about ransomware. But we saw the question and we will be back with the response. Okay. We have a question over here. Can we show task manager while Heimdall is blocking? Yes, we can, but we won't be going back to the demo right now. But you can easily do that. If you have an additional question after that, or if there's something that you want to ask, you have my email here, or you can put it over here in the phone, right? In the chat, and we will take it. Webinar really interesting. Thank you. A pleasure for having you all here. We're still gonna remain for a few minutes, just a few minutes. So please, any question, please feel free over here. Okay. This is a very interesting question. We have tools out there, like for example, Sentinel-1. Use the shadow copy to roll back an attack. What do we do from the Heimdall aspect? Well, we would be doing the same thing, right? Looking at your shadow copies. However, the problem is that shadow copies can be tampered with. So that's why we will always recommend an off-site full backup that happens, gets uploaded every once in a while, like once every 4 hours or 6 hours or something like that. And just use it like that. But it's a good, interesting idea. So we will basically share this with development. Maybe they can get something. We have some people saying thank you about the webinar and hoping for more webinars, guys. As you saw, we will have the next webinar, right? So we will have it on the end of July. So please enroll. If we recommend shadow copies to be turned on, of course, it's a must. It's a must. Okay, very interesting session. We're happy. Can we have the recording of the session? Yes. So guys, you will have the recording of the session and an attendance email with the completion certificate, right? So so you will have this. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Let's still take 1-2 questions. Let's see. Come on. What other curiosities do we have here? We still have over 100 people in the meeting, so let's see. Do we have another interesting question here? Ooh, this is interesting. I've heard that some ransomware attacks might even be able to break tape drive firmware, so you will lose valuable time to get the new hardware. What is your experience with that? Well, I would say that this is a very powerful one, to be able to make your tape drive null, to wipe it. We heard about similar situations. If you have like some strains in mind, please use my email and send them to me. we could have some fun in detonating them, checking them in the sandbox, and so on. Okay, and now we have last question over here, and I believe that this is a question about future roadmap plans. Well, yes, there are future roadmap plans when it comes to the ransomware protection tool, like auto isolation of computers that have been exposed, just due to the fact that you don't want that spreading, right? So we do have some enhancements and some more speed enhancements so that it can stop it even faster. So guys, we are 5 minutes out after the hour. Thank you so much. We'll still have 100 plus attendees in the room. Thank you for staying with us. Please feel free to leave your comments and feedback in the form. If you have some other questions for me, for Robertino, please feel free to reach out to us. Robertino, any last things, any last words you want to say to our audience?
Famous last words. Thank you for the audience, and the experts have left the building.
Cool. Have a nice one, everybody. Thank you
Bye.
for being here with us, and see you on the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye.